War. War never changes.
Guys, it's the Fallout episode. How we doing?
Amazing.
I don't know how to respond to that. Usually you say my name and then I say your name. You're Jeff.
Welcome back to the TB&J podcast. With me today is Troy Brittingham.
I wasn't ready. You're Jeff.
I am
again.
Jeff. Chris Carroll is back in the building, everybody.
I've returned.
Oh, man.
From the Fallout. I am a ghoul. It has not changed my voice at all.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, it didn't really change Walton Goggins' voice either in the show.
Well, that's because he's Walton Goggins. He's already got that Gunsmoke voice. It can't get any deeper.
Oh, God. I was literally, watching, parts, not looking directly at the screen for whatever reason. Like, I was getting a drink or whatever. And I would be like, oh, is that Cecil? No, it's the wrong show.
He's sort of like, is he one of the guys who crosses over into the threshold of, kind of ugly hot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, are you attractive? Are you not
You,
attractive?
look at him and you're like, all of your features are wrong, but somehow you kind of make it all work.
You do. You really do. And you know what? That's what I appreciate about you, Mr. Walton Goggins. So it's time for Fallout, the TV series. TB&J! TB&J! First things first, if you're new around here, we give every piece of media we review a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Then we talk about it. We grade it a little more accurately, usually like a teacher, like an A to an F kind of thing. So, Troy, without further ado, Fallout TV series on Amazon Prime. All 8 episodes dropped at once on the night of April 10th.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Okay.
Bigger rated thumbs up.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, interesting. Yeah. Chris, how you feeling?
I am measuring the nuclear explosion right outside of my house with a thumbs up.
Is it your thumb or my thumb?
It is a thumb that I found on the ground.
How big is it compared to that thumb?
Oh.
I don't see the thumb anymore.
Oh, no.
I think in the spirit of Vault Boy, it is only appropriate I also give this a thumbs up. This fucking TV show, I had no expectations. I expected them to fuck this over so bad and for it to be such hot, steamy garbage, especially after we just finished Halo, which wasn't bad.
Season 2, not that bad. It's still not very Halo.
That's the best we can say about it. It's
not very
that bad.
Halo.
It's pretty good. This was really good.
Yeah, this doesn't pass like a Last of Us for me, but The Last of Us is probably the best.
It's
video
really
game
funny you
adaptation.
say Last of Us. That was my very first thought watching this show, because the first scene is pre-war. We have Cooper, Walton Goggins, who's this cowboy at a kid's birthday party, and his daughter is his helper. And then the bombs fall, and he's running away with his daughter. And my first thought was, fuck, is the pre-war bit going to be another fucking Last of Us, where I have to watch this dad, carry the corpse of his daughter? Is that really what I'm about to do again? But no, they didn't do that. Instead, it's a mystery where his family is, and he's been trying to find them for 200 years. Oh boy, that's a long time. I think they're dead, Coop. I think they're dead. But
you say that.
They could be brains in jars, just like Bud at the end of the last episode. Fuck, I hate Bud so goddamn much.
Also,
By the way, we should probably preface this. We're covering all 8 episodes, so spoiler warning.
That's in the description. Full spoilers. We're gonna do all 8 episodes. We're doing the whole fucking series of Fallout. I would like to, this is one of the first shows I've done in a while where I actually took notes as I watched it. First impressions for me personally.
So you two are both much bigger Fallout people than me. I know that.
Are you saying that because I'm fat? No, I'm just kidding.
Large.
I'm a very big Fallout fan. Fallout 3 is one of the first games I ever played on the Xbox 360 right after Gears of War and Red Dead Redemption, which, if you know anything about me, listening to this podcast for a while, those are my top
identity,
3.
Yeah.
Those are my top 3 game series of all time. Gears of War, Red Dead, and Fallout. Probably in that order.
You have a Lancer within arm's reach of you.
And
not
2 more on my wall behind me above the TV.
Literally not a lie.
Yeah, it's literally life-size toy guns from a video game. But
the only bigger Fallout fan here than Jeff is me.
Is Chris.
Because I fucking love Fallout. It is my favorite franchise.
It's so good. It is a really good crossroads between satirical humor and you have this like 50s post-World War II kind of retro futurism combined with this nuclear apocalyptic holocaust of humanity. And it's just such it's so good. It's so fucking good. The games and the story that they've woven and all of this deep horror that's underneath it all, like how every vault was an experiment on humanity, and seeing that happen in the show was like an extra layer of fucked up for me personally. It was so good. And for anyone that didn't have Fallout knowledge going into this show, they probably thought, oh, wow, that's so fucked up. That's so crazy. And Chris and I are sitting here like, yup, that's Vault Tech. We're sitting there smug with our arms crossed.
Vault 33 and Vault 4, they ain't even the most fucked up vaults we've seen.
Oh, God, no. Absolutely not. Oh, there are so many more fucked up vaults.
Yeah, I have played 3 and I've played 4. I never beat either of them. I'm a Skyrim,
which I always find fascinating.
I'm a Skyrim girly. It's my personality.
That's totally fine. I've perfected Skyrim on 2 consoles.
Sure. No, I do not dislike Fallout. It was just never a thing that captured me in a super like I need to play this every single day kind of thing,
sure.
Which is what a Bethesda game kind of shoots for a lot of the time. But
they certainly give you a lot of content.
Right. Well, yeah. I'm just saying Bethesda fans are like, oh, Bethesda game came out. I'm not leaving my house for 2 months.
Yeah. That's very accurate, and that's exactly what happened when I first got into Fallout 3.
Right. When you step outside for the first time, it's like the vault door moving, and you see the sun in your eyes for the first time. You get shocked.
Yep. Which they put that in the fucking show, and they did it so well. In every game, when you leave the vault in first... I should backtrack that. In the modern games, we're talking 3, 4, and New Vegas. I don't know about 76. I have not played it. That's the MMO one. I'm not a big fan of that game type, so I'd never played 76. But regardless, when you leave your vault in 3, 4, and 3 and 4, you don't leave a vault in New Vegas. The sunlight hits you, and you raise your left arm with your Pip-Boy to block it. And when Lucy left the vault, and then in the flashback when her mom leaves the vault, they both do that. And that little like scene, that silhouette of them against the sunlight with the vault door in the background, that's a really fucking great shot, and I loved seeing it. It was so good. Chris, did you enjoy that as well?
There's so many things I enjoy about this show. This is definitely one of them.
I'm so glad we got you back just in time to talk about Fallout. I'm so excited for this.
I just want to say, like, the props throughout all of this show.
That's my first note, yes. It's
perfect. Like, the vault architecture matches that of the games.
Yep.
Like, to a T.
It's perfect.
It is like you are watching the game being played in real life.
And it's also not like green screen or like Mandalorian volume type of stuff. It's like the
soundstage you talk about.
Yeah. The volume is, I think.
Well, there's some of that, but that's explained in the universe because they project like the Nebraska skyline on the wall.
But like when they go to Philly, it's
Philly. It's
Not
always sunny in Philly
with an F.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it is sunny when they go there.
Landfill.
Oh, okay.
It is sunny when they go there, though.
True. That's true.
But that's like they like made a whole junk city.
Yeah, they made a whole fucking junk city. They just did that. Like, oh boy, and like it's clear that there's only like a couple dozen sets that they kind of go through with each of the characters, but they get a lot of mileage out of the sets they've built. And that's the thing, they built them. I firmly believe they went to like a desert and just put up some half shitty buildings. And they were like, all right, cool. And we'll have Walton Goggins do his bit here, and then Lucy do her bit here, and then Thaddeus can do his bit here with the Doctor Man, and everything's going to be great. And it's like, yeah, that, because in the dilapidated, broken wasteland, a lot of it just fucking looks the same. It's just broken buildings. That's all it is.
I believe a lot of the desert landscape was shot in Utah.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense, I think. Utah's got some deserty bits. Yeah. Nevada's got a lot of deserty bits, too. But yeah, I fell in love immediately with the way that everything looked. I saw it when they're sitting there at the kids' party and the dad's taking photos and the camera in his hand is the same fucking camera in Fallout 4. It's like the same exact 3D model prop. They just made it real. Like somebody took a magic 4-dimensional hand and just picked it out of the game and put it in this actor's hands and was like, "Here you go, use that." And it's like, it's fucking mwah, 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 perfect. Every prop looks like it was handcrafted straight from the game. They do such a brilliant job, really making it so close to real life. The vault suits looked exactly like the ones you get issued in Fallout 4. And then just every weapon.
No, the number's different.
I mean, yeah.
Idiot.
Also, these vault suits are a little less form-fitting than the ones at Fallout 4, because they made them like super spandex in that.
That is true. I did forget that. In 4, it's a lot more spandexy.
Yeah, they look more like the ones from Fallout 3, which is the better design.
Yeah, honestly, it is. A little more mechanic jumpsuit than it is like, skin-tight athletic jumpsuit. Yeah. I love the different main characters we have, and the different contrasts and similarities between them. Like we have Lucy, who anyone new to the series or like their first playthrough could easily put themselves in her shoes. You don't know exactly how the world works. You really want to make the world a better place, and every time you encounter a scenario, you just get shot down and reminded that the wasteland doesn't give a fuck about you as a person, and it's just gonna eat you alive if you let it. And then we've got our fucking ghoul, a.k.a. Cooper Howard, the Walton Goggins character. He's more of like the guy who's like beating the game and he's just walking through it doing side quests and shit and just doesn't care, one-shotting guys left and right, collecting bounties because he's got nothing better to do,
but
really.
He's interesting because he's they kind of have him as like the cool guy, badass archetype kind of character who doesn't care and shoots first and everything.
Yeah.
But then they also do like every single scene when everybody else leaves the room, he's just like, shit, I actually really fucking care. That really sucks that I just shot all those
put a lot
people.
of depth into him.
I'm really sad, actually, that I did that.
Yeah, and then all the pre-war bits learning about this man and who he was before he became a ghoul, it really just makes you really love this guy. Like, all the writing, all the direction, so fucking good with the Walton Goggins character.
Yeah,
and
he has about 200 years of having to not give a shit for a majority of it.
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. And then we have our third kind of main character. We have Maximus, played by an actor named Aaron Moten. And Maximus, oh my gosh, this guy, he's just up and down. I loved him, and then I hated him, and then I loved him, and then I hated him. By the end of it, I loved him again. Like, this guy went through a lot of different ups and downs and ins and outs. And, oh, man, Troy, did you enjoy Maximus?
I enjoy Maximus a lot. I think Cooper Howard is probably my favorite character, which is weird because I don't usually go for like the mysterious badass character.
The mysterious stranger.
No, we knew his name.
No, that's
we know. Yeah, I know, but we knew his
Fallout
name.
thing.
Yeah, but we know his name. He's not the stranger.
No, he's just the ghoul.
Right.
Whenever you pull up his cast thing, it just says he's the ghoul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he is. I like basically try my best not to like. I feel like sometimes they try real hard to make these badass characters, and it's just like, this is the character everybody's gonna love, and I'm like, yeah, but like I've seen this before.
That's how I felt watching Andor in the fucking Rogue One movie. Cassian Andor.
I don't know. I think he's a little bit different than badass.
I just wanted to shoehorn how much I hate Rogue
No,
One.
I get it. You tried to throw it in once an episode. Once again, obligatory.
You're contractually obligated.
Right.
Obligated to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know
how like every podcast people say that people are like Disney shills and stuff. This is somebody specifically pays you off screen to shit on only Rogue One.
Yeah.
He hands you $1.
Yep, I was gonna say I don't get paid a lot, but it's more about the principle of it for me.
Rogue $1. But I was gonna say Maximus is probably my number 2 character. I think.
Knew you'd love him.
Yeah,
I knew you'd love Maximus. Chris, how did you feel about the Brotherhood of Steel returning to their fucking fascist-ass gross roots from the first couple games?
So, it's interesting because in Fallout 4, they already went back to some of their more fascist roots, which was always sort of their satirical point. This one definitely feels a lot more... So, I think what they've done in the games is that the West Coast Brotherhood, after the events in New Vegas, had to flee back to the East to meet back up with the remnants of Lion's crew, and then they went back to the West Coast because they were specifically talking to their leadership in the Commonwealth, which is from Fallout 4.
Okay.
So
now this show takes place rather in what are we in 2291, I believe.
2296.
96.
So we are well past the point of the other Fallout games. This is the latest in the series that we have seen in an actual piece of content.
Okay, that was going to be my question, is where this falls in the timeline. So if their leadership is still in the Commonwealth, I assume Elder Maxon is alive?
We don't know. That's a big thing with FA, is that they don't tell us like what occurred as a result of the games. All we know is that they are in the Commonwealth, so we don't know what has happened.
That's a really good point, actually. Fallout is really good at letting you make choices, and you can just completely wipe out entire factions off the face of the earth. And then the next game, they can be like, psych, here they are again, and you're going to fight them again in this other part of the country. Although I do absolutely love that about them.
Well, you say that, but we do, unfortunately, learn about the fate of the NCR and possibly also New Vegas. But
that's true.
That's going to be explored more in Season 2, which has already been greenlit, and we should all watch that once it comes out.
I was about to ask if if Season 2 is already announced.
It was greenlit before it came out.
It seemed like it, because this show ends extremely open-ended.
It ends absolutely like leading into a Season 2 for sure.
If this was it, that would be the biggest like tease in the entire world.
When talks about this first started, they were like, "Oh, Fallout the series, here you go." And then after they did like the red carpet events and the previews, they were like, "Yeah, Fallout Season 1 is really good, and we're really hoping that we can keep the train going." And I was like, "Wait, excuse me? You're talking like this is already happening?" Oh, it is. Oh, yay! So, super pleased to hear that we will get more.
Just for timeline's sake, we are about 15 years after the events of Fallout New Vegas.
Okay, and New Vegas was the latest so far. It took place after 4, correct?
No, Fallout 4 takes place after New Vegas. That one happens in 2287. It's just that Fallout 4 has absolutely like no connection to New Vegas outside of like a couple of mentions.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, for the most part, Bethesda has steered clear of anything on the West Coast because that was more Interplay and Obsidian Entertainment's thing, and they've always stuck to the East Coast. That way they could sort of build out their own mythos. And I am actually extremely happy to see that they are going back to the West Coast, exploring all of that, and telling us what happens.
Well, they were making all the games. You say Fallout's your favorite series. They're making it for you, and then you moved to the West Coast, and then they put it back over there.
Correct. That is exactly what has happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have Todd on speed dial, and every now and then you're like, you told him that you moved, and he's like, oh, interesting, and then he started talking to Amazon.
So
listen, it's like my buddy Todd Howard always says, it just works out like that.
Yeah, it just works. It just clicks into place. You build the settlements. It just works.
Chris, could I climb that mountain in the background? Out of curiosity.
Yes.
You see that mountain?
You can.
You can go there.
Ooh, interesting.
We are making fun of Todd Howard, the CEO of Bethesda Entertainment, and I guess that also makes him in charge of the games division as well. Basically, Fallout's daddy at the moment. We're
he's extremely good at building hype.
He's the bard of game development.
I was going to say, he's a very charismatic man, even if sometimes that comes to his discredit.
Let's put it this way. He still has fans, and none of the three of us, I think, hate him.
No, I don't hate Todd.
And he's lied to us time and time again, and will again. Will in the future.
I'm ready to get hurt again.
It's not as bad as him. It's not as bad as like Peter Molyneux level of lying.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Because that's a whole different level. Like,
yeah.
He's left things open-ended enough that we filled in the blanks and they were very wrong.
I'm pretty sure if Todd met you in the wasteland, he would probably swindle you and take your gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's true.
He's just doing what he's got to do to survive. I would do it with a smile on my face.
Yeah, no,
probably.
You'd meet him again and you'd be like, damn it, he's still kind of cool.
Oh, now he's got my shoes. What the fuck?
He keeps taking things from me, but I keep doing it.
I keep letting him do it.
He can't keep getting away with this. He can't keep selling Skyrim.
in this timeline, you said the year is what, 22 something?
96.
2296.
What version of Skyrim are we on now?
Oh, fuck, man. So many. Like fucking 3 million. You can play them
you
in
can
Toaster
now you can now play Skyrim on your very own genome.
Oh.
You can just think it and load up a level of Skyrim.
You remember in what the scientist guy from the Enclave, that thing he injected in his neck?
That's
the new Skyrim.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's not cold fusion. That's the new Skyrim.
That's why they needed it so bad.
Yeah, man.
Well, it's called fusion because Skyrim's really cold.
Yeah. All right. At the risk of this being an incredibly long episode, because there are 8 episodes of Fallout, each one is an hour and change-ish. Some of them are shorter, but ultimately, you're looking at like 8 hours of content here. I don't want this to be an 8-hour-long podcast. No one's going to listen to that.
Speak for yourself, buddy boy.
Yeah, right. Chris, I'm going to throw it to you first because you're the biggest Fallout guy here, and I also haven't talked to you in a podcast in a while. What were some of your highlights from this series? What were the things that really stood out to you that you really, really loved? Like scenes, characters? Give it to me. Give it to me raw.
So, a lot of people have probably mentioned this. In episode 6, when Lucy and Maximus are in Vault 4, we get to see a flag of the New California Republic, and it plays a certain theme. That is the theme of Fallout New Vegas, and that got a literal, audible fuck yeah from me.
Me as well. And if the theme played as soon as she touched the flag, it felt like starting a quest in the game. It really felt exactly like that. And all it was missing was the little like cha-ching noise when the fucking XP goes up. I was so fucking hyped when that happened. It was such an incredible use of the game soundtrack, which soundtrack I want to highlight. Ramin Djawadi is the composer for this show. I don't know if you guys know that name off the top of your head.
No.
He did Gears of War 4. He also did the Game of Thrones series.
Okay.
Okay.
Those are okay acolytes.
This guy is a fucking heavy-hitting composer. And
Accolades, not acolytes.
Yeah, he
not religiously devout.
He said one of the things he really wanted to do was to do Einon Zur, the guy who did Fallout 4 and 3. He wanted to do his music justice in this show. And
he fucking does it.
I think they used it very creatively and very usefully, and it was fucking brilliant each time. I heard it very distinctly twice. The main Fallout, like dun dun dun, like that music hits.
Hit me with that one more time.
No,
damn.
that music hits a couple times, and each time it doesn't feel shoehorned. It doesn't feel inappropriate. It felt spot on each time. I really, really loved the work that he did.
So building off of that, I want to talk about sound design in general. There are a lot of sounds that come directly from the games, going from like whenever the ghoul takes his shot of weird chemical that keeps him from going feral, it plays the exact same sound bite that you would when you take drugs in Fallout 4.
Yep.
When the cold fusion thing goes off, succeeds, it turns on, it plays the sound of a quest being completed in Fallout 4.
Yes, it does.
There's just so many small details that play in from the games that work so well that the attention to detail is in this show has just been amazing, and I love it.
Absolutely. It's so fucking good. The people that made this show really did like have a knowledge of the games and wanted to incorporate as much as they could without it feeling too cheesy and fan servicey. There is quite a bit of fan service, and there's a lot of Easter eggs if you look, but it doesn't feel forced. It does feel very natural. It feels like, oh, this is supposed to be this way. It's a really, really good time. Troy, anything in specific you'd like to highlight?
Probably my favorite action scene of the entire show is one of the very first ones with Cooper in Philly, where it's basically like an old Western kind of everybody surrounds him kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And they specifically they never do VATS in the show, but they do whenever he shoots people, it does do the slow motion like kill cams.
Yep.
Basically like half the kills he does in that thing. And it was one of those things where just about halfway through the fight scene, I was like, "Oh, they're doing VATS."
Yeah.
Like it wasn't. It was like that. Like zoom in isn't so like specifically just Fallout.
Yeah.
Like everybody has done that, but it was like done in a way where I had it didn't occur to me that it was specifically they were doing VATS until the end of that. So it wasn't like in your face.
You've said it 3 times. I want to clarify for anyone who doesn't know Fallout. VATS stands for Vault-Tec Assisted Targeting Service. In the games, it's this mechanic where you can freeze time and target specific body parts and limbs on characters and shoot them.
Yeah.
It's really, really handy for you if you're just starting out with the shooting mechanics, because it's a lot. The shooting mechanics are a lot clunkier in the older games, and then in Fallout 4 they kind of polished that up, made VATS a little less necessary, but it's still very fun.
And part of that is because the original Fallout games, Fallout 1 and 2, were isometric RPGs, which were turn-based combat.
Yeah,
exactly.
So a big thing about VATS is because it pauses, it lets you play more of that turn-based style.
Yep.
Yeah, but I feel like if I saw...
Also, it doesn't mean that you need to be good at a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I probably sucked when I was a kid, but VATS saved my bacon more than once. You were saying, Troy?
But I feel like if I saw somebody zoom in and there was like a percentage to hit or something like that, I'd be like, okay, this is kind of dumb and on the nose. But they do it they did it in a way where I'm like, oh, that I didn't realize they were doing it. The moment that I realized they were doing it, I was like, oh, this scene was cool. It's a little bit cooler now that it's VATS.
Absolutely, yeah. And it really just kind of solidifies that Walton Goggins has spent the last 200 years getting really fucking good with those guns.
Mm-hmm.
And it also highlights for us, the audience, that Fallout is absolutely not afraid to just blow people's heads apart. You get blood, gore, body parts everywhere. They don't give a fuck. This might be the goriest TV show I've ever watched. And
Jeff,
I've seen Game of Thrones.
Jeff, we've watched The Boys.
The Boys is gory, but not consistently. It's very gory, and then it's a lot of like build up to another gory bit.
I think that the gory bits are
Jeff, we've
bigger
seen a man go inside of a pee hole and grow and explode a person. We've seen someone crash into a whale. We've seen
it's definitely more
bisect an entire crowd of people.
You know what's
The Boys
funny?
is a little bit more gory.
We both of those shows made by Amazon. Amazon does love their blood and gore.
Yeah.
The other one I was going to point to was Invincible, is also very gory in that comic book sort of way.
That's a little bit different since it's animated, so there's a little
it's
bit
2D
of
animated,
dissonance.
yeah. So
I will say, however, with The Boys, I always was like a little bit more squeamish with the blood. In the Fallout TV show, I appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think just because it's more like bloody for parody's sake, in The Boys it's more shock value.
Yeah, The Boys, absolutely. It's all shock value with that whole property. But in Fallout, the blood and gore was supposed to be super, super over the top, because that was like half the fun. Because it was like, oh, look at this fucking Vault Tech kind of kid walking out of his Vault 13 looking for a water chip, and he's all like happy-go-lucky, and then just like, no, there's a big monster, and you blow its fucking head apart. It's like, oh shit, okay, cool. That's fucking amazing, dude. Absolutely loved all of that. I loved they weren't afraid to pull punches. I love that we saw a power armor fist just squish a man's head like it was fucking nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that was awesome. That was so fucking awesome. There's
and
so much
that's another one that the power suit is, and they have like at least fucking 15 power suits in the show, sometimes at the same time.
Yeah, especially that last scene where the Brotherhood's assaulting the NCR.
And they're all real power suits. Like, they don't, like, every single one of them's a prop.
There's no CGI for the suits.
There's like 2 or 3 scenes where I think they use CGI for it, and one's literally when he's flying, when Maximus is flying around in the air, and obviously you can't do that.
The other one's probably when he gets blown up in that final fight after the ghoul shoots him in that little weak spot in the front. Which, the fact that he remembered that and was able to just fucking pinpoint target it. Mwah! Mwah! Fucking loved it. Something else that really, really got me every single time was all the fucking like little bits of humor that aren't like highlighted, but they're just there in the background. Like after the doctor gets his foot blown off, which fucking foot blown off. All right, bloody little stump there, and it's just like, oh shit, okay. And then the shop owner, she gets a box that says Jim's Limbs, and then in small print at the bottom it says the Veteran's Choice. And I was like, that's Fallout. That's pretty fucking clever. And then when Lucy is exploring on her own earlier, she sees the bottle of cyanide pills in that family's house where they're all dead, and the label says Vault-Tec Plan D, Econo Savings. And it's like, oh, it's cheaper than a vault. I get it. That's funny. You just kill yourself instead of getting a vault. And it's like, oh, man, like all of the dark stuff is absolutely in there. And even before they leave the vault, 6 minutes into the show, when Chet won't open the door for her to go to Vault 32.
Chet's one of the fucking funniest characters,
First of all,
dude.
love Chet. Second of all, he won't open the door, and she's like, yeah, Chet, we all know you love me, but you're my cousin, and that's not healthy for long-term sexual relationships. And I'm like, wait. They just casually drop cousin fucking like it's nothing. What?
Jeff,
what the fuck?
Jeff, there's not a whole lot to do in the apocalypse aside from eat, drink, fuck, and survive.
I mean, she had a busy schedule. She said that she was in a book club and gymnastics and science and speech. She was a teacher teaching about American history.
Yeah.
And taekwondo. She was a medium phys ed, whatever. I don't remember. Intermediate phys ed. That's what she said.
No, she was a medium and also did phys ed.
Which I completely forgot about
She
that.
speaks to ghosts.
The first time we meet Lucy, she's literally going over her special skills and like her character build, and we're getting it to know like, oh, yep, that's exactly who she is. Great, I know what she is capable of. So then later on, when she's in Section 12 of Vault 4, where she's not supposed to be, and she starts fucking taekwondoing these people, it's like, oh yeah, because she took intermediate phys ed back in Vault 33. She knows how to flip a motherfucker. She's good. And I'm like, yep, that's great. Everything about this show, every detail seems really, really well done for the most part. That's not to say I don't have my gripes with this show. I certainly do.
I have a couple.
And with that, I would like to get to the gripe section. Chris, what would you say? You got some gripes, some problems, some inconsistencies?
So, I would say my first one relates to dog meat in that he doesn't really...
CX404?
Correct. He doesn't really have like an established personality, and like some of the things that he does just seems wildly inconsistent. So he's very protective of his first master of the Enclave doctor, whose name I forget. It's something weird.
It's like Wilzig or something.
Wilzig, thank you. So Dogmeat attacks Coop because he's attacking Wilzig, and then after the fight, he heals the dog so that way it'll go back to his master. And the dog doesn't seem to mind the person that just stabbed him. So that was a very like inconsistent thing. Like I feel like the dog would still be hostile. The other thing, and this is a small one, but when Wilzig's fleeing from the Enclave, they're like right next to a minigun turret that just like shoots all around them, and I'm just like, okay, that's a little goofy. That could have been done better.
It's an older guy with a dog, and they're not exactly sprinting. And you tell me that turret can't nail them at like almost point blank distance?
Yeah, they don't even get grazed.
Yeah, that was a little. That one's a little weird. Not gonna lie. Yeah. You got any more?
Yeah, the big one, and a lot of people have this one, is that sort of like some of the explanations or like timelines around like what happened to the NCR and like where we are at now. A lot of that's very muddy, which is partially I think by design and partially I think just they're not going to come up with an answer that pleases everyone.
No, of course not.
And it didn't please me, obviously.
Sure.
Because I would like to know, like, what happened. I mean, and this is my own personal opinion, but the NCR was always bound to implode or explode in this case. And
was it?
So by the time Fallout New Vegas, it's already on the decline, and depending on what happens in that game, you can pretty much spell doom for it. And I mean, hell, even in Fallout New Vegas, you can nuke the NCR. You can destroy them.
Yeah, you can destroy the NCR. You can also destroy all of Vegas, New Vegas, I should say.
So what I'm referring to specifically is that there is a quest in that game in one of the DLCs in which you get to nuke the territories of the NCR. So you can nuke Shady Sands.
I forgot about the fucking one with Ulysses because I fucking hated that DLC because it was so boring. But yeah, you're right. You can absolutely drop nukes all over the NCR territories, like tons of them too. Like you can just wipe them off the face of the earth.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's whoo boy, I forgot about that.
So I'm super excited to see where they take it because they'll need to spell out like what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think like some of the moneyness didn't do themselves any favor, and I don't think that they could have really done it any other way. So it's a gripe that had to come.
I don't see just to touch on your season 2 stuff. I don't think. Well, clearly the NCR is not in charge of New Vegas or the Hoover Dam, I should say, because they're gone now. Their last stronghold was at the observatory, and their leader is dead. Who knows if President Kimball was even a character in this universe? I don't know if they're trying to say this is the same universe.
Do you want to call out like this TV show is canon with the games? Like it is all canon.
Okay. In that case, great, awesome.
Some would call it the anti-Halo.
The anti-Halo. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Okay, I'm cool with that. That does bring me some questions about what the NCR was up to in New Vegas. But I mean, part of what you said, the NCR is so fragmented that like the New Vegas group could have been doing their own fucking thing.
Yeah. So, like the big satirizing point of the NCR in the games is that it's exactly as it was pre-war. It's a bunch of super rich people, the barons that own the land, that own the cattle, that own the water, basically just hoarding wealth and making the decisions for the country, and it just ends up in the exact same spot where
should the rich people not be in charge?
Yeah.
So Jeff,
there's
some themes in this show that I think you may need to pick up on a little bit here.
Jeff, I don't know if you know this about Fallout, but it's a little bit political.
Oh man, it is.
Yes.
Jeff uninstalling all Fallout games off of his Xbox right now as we speak.
Jeez Louise, I had no idea. That's crazy.
Remember the scene in the show where they're all meeting up and they're all talking about what they're going to do to all the different vaults and what they want to happen and how we can force people into vaults?
Mr. House was there. I recognized him immediately. I was so fucking happy to see House there.
Yeah, and the person in charge of Big Mountain, Frederick Sinclair, he's a big person.
But
in more ways than one.
But did you see that scene and go, "This doesn't seem political at all to me"?
I mean, no, I don't understand what you're talking about. There's no politics there. I don't. See
so what we're saying is capitalism is not always good.
What?
Remember in all the flashback scenes where they kept talking about communist meetups and everybody kept casting out all the communists out of Hollywood?
Yeah, and then Moldaver had that weird line about how communist is just a dirty word they use for anyone that isn't insane. And I was like, well, that's insane. How dare you say something like that, you filthy red?
But even that comment is, I don't know if you know this, the thing you just said was political.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Anywho, all of Chris's gripes are gripes that I had similarly as well. I just wasn't like super educated on the lore of like the world around where they were, around Shady Sands, around all of like New California and where they're at. But it is very interesting to hear your perspective on them, Chris. Troy,
there's a couple of also like inconsistencies. Like Shady Sands, I think got moved closer to L.A. when it's supposed to be like a little bit further out from it.
I had heard about that. That was a big point people were making up on Reddit about like a problem with the show. But honestly, if your biggest problem with the show is like they're moving a geographical location a little bit differently, like fine. Who cares? In these games, I can walk from one end of Maryland to the other. Like that's not realistic.
Yeah.
Shut up. It's fine. Everything's fine. The geography of the world can change. It's fine. Who gives a shit? I do find it interesting that the timeline of their NCR Shady Sands stuff seems to differ a little bit from the games, but not enough that like I really care. Like if it's close enough, I'm just like, whatever, it's fine. And ultimately, since this show ends with the NCR getting wiped out, it doesn't matter. None of it matters at all because now the Brotherhood's in charge of, I guess, California? I don't know who else is around to really like challenge them. The Legion is a little further east, but and the Enclave,
if they still even exist.
Yeah, and clearly the Enclave still exists doing stuff, but like in what capacity? They seem pretty like underground hidden. So yes. I guess we'll find out.
So the Enclave still seem to be operating somewhere in California. And then in a tie over to the games, because they are releasing the next gen patch for Fallout 4. We learned that the Enclave did survive on the East Coast in some fashion.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting because I remember destroying John Henry Eaton and blowing up Raven Rock. But, it's cool. It's cool. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not actually butthurt. I love the Enclave. I think they're an awesome bad guy. It's weird that every time they've come up in a major game, we've always completely destroyed them, as in, like, no survivors. And then another game comes out and it's like, hey, this little sleeper agent cell was here, and they're still around. Yay, Enclave's back. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I like the Enclave. It's cool.
So to anybody watching, the Enclave is the remnants of the American government.
Yes, the remnants of the American government go underground. They rebrand as the Enclave after a long time, and they believe themselves the rightful rulers of the country, which isn't. I guess it's not unfounded, but they're also like absolutely terrible human beings, and they've done a lot of really fucked up shit to humanity in the 200 years since the bombs fell. To say nothing of what they did to humanity before the bombs fell. So in every game, they basically become the de facto bad guys.
Yeah, so the government's bad, and the private sector capitalists are bad. This is a political game show.
Political game show? Yep. What's behind door number 3? Oh, it's communism again.
What's behind door number 2? Oh, it's the feral ghouls.
Whoa, no.
They just descend on the audience.
The feral ghouls in this show broke my fucking heart. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jesus, watching Ralph sit there and remind him that his name is Ralph over and over because he can feel himself slipping away, and then the woman Martha in the Martha, Super Duper Mart, I was like, God, this fucking sucks. Oh my God, I wanted to cry so fucking hard seeing that. That was fucking brutal.
One of the things that they've added in this show is that ghouls need to take some sort of medication to stave off feralness.
I mean, that kind of tracks because
in the games, it's more after you absorb so much radiation, you tend to go feral, but also ghouls are semi-resistant to radiation, so they would need to like take a full radiation bath to lose themselves.
That's You're right there on the money. I've always found the games have been a little like wishy-washy with like the exact line between what makes you a ghoul versus feral. Like clearly there are ferals and there are regulars, and the regulars are just normal dudes. They just look like ghouls, and then they go feral and they just become murder machines. But I feel like there's never been a concrete answer as to like when that happens or what it takes to make that happen, other than just saying radiation with a hand wave. I really liked that there was like a drug that he can take to stave off being feral, and it'll keep him, sane. I didn't understand the whole burying himself in a graveyard thing.
That he did not do that to himself. From that scene, it was whoever owned that compound. It was like Dom Pedro or something. He had him buried.
Okay, and they did have like an IV bag of that drug hooked up to him to keep him from going feral. So he was just like, was he in stasis in there? I guess they don't have that technology. He was just
he was essentially a prisoner. That's why they had to break in and break him out.
Got it. Okay, that makes more sense then, I guess. God, I loved seeing Walton Goggins anytime he was the ghoul, just running around shooting things.
Yeah,
so much fun.
I also just want to call out like that scene. You get to see the rocket launcher, and they shoot a baby doll's like leg into a person's chest.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Oh, man. So fucking good. I loved that when she, and then speaking of weapons as well, when Lucy is in the shop while the Ghoul and Maximus are fighting outside, she looks at the weapon wall and you see a laser rifle, and then she looks up even further and there's the fucking junk jet from Fallout 4 that you can just cram whatever into and just fire away. And I was like, oh, please use the junk jet, but no, she didn't. Sad face. Didn't
and
get
then
to
Jeff
use
said, "Bad show." Jeff said, "Bad
yeah,
show."
I said, "Bad
not watching
show."
Anymore.
I put it outside to make it think about what it's done.
And then he figured out it was political, and it was all downhill from there.
They didn't use a whole lot of laser weapons in this show.
That's true.
I don't remember them using any, actually.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw a laser.
No, it was all ballistic. I didn't see any laser or energy weapons.
So the things we're missing.
But that's one of the problems with Fallout as a game. It's not a problem when it's a game, I guess, but the escalation of firepower. You have your main character walking around with like a fucking plasma rifle, just melting literally all of these raiders running at you. It kind of eliminates the danger. So I feel like if they keep it simple and they just have ballistic weapons, at least for now, when we do get energy weapons in the next season and we get our laser rifles, our plasma pistols, our etc., it'll escalate and add a level of danger without making it ridiculous and unbelievable.
Yeah, I hope they give a like a bit of an explanation on that, because like if anybody was gonna have laser weapons, it's the Brotherhood, and they obviously didn't. Sure, they had their vertibirds and power armor, but not a single laser weapon, which is part of their thing.
So my counterpoint to that was when they're in the power armor, the only weapons they really use are that modified 10mm pistol that makes it a bit larger so that it does fit in their hand, and then they use the Fallout 4 assault rifle, which was just an unwieldy beast ever since it was first designed.
Yes.
So laser rifles, as we've seen them on a wall so far in this show, are just kind of regular gun sized. I feel like it'd be very hard to hold that in the power armor model they've created.
So I do want to specifically call out, we do see a laser weapon in this show in the hands of someone, but we never see them fire it. In the final episode when Moldaver is going to battle, she pulls out a laser pistol.
Okay.
Like you can see the yellow microfusion cell on it, which is what charges it.
So that kind of adds a little bit of validity to my point, where they wanted to use larger weapons in the power armor because they're just bigger and it looks better and it's easier to hold and look good on film rather than holding a regular human-sized rifle or a human-sized pistol.
Yeah, but there's large laser weapons too, like a laser Gatling.
That's something they could have done, is have a Gatling laser.
Yeah, so it's just a weird point that I hope they expand on, and I hope that they change.
That's true. Yeah, I'm ready to see another bit of that. I'm ready to see that change.
So season 2, we need what? We need laser weapons. We need
season
super
2.
mutants.
We need laser weapons. We saw a dead super mutant in this show.
Okay, I don't even remember that.
So when the Doctor is escaping the Enclave, or I'm sorry, he has the baby dog, and he's like taking him back to his lab. There's a corpse with a blanket over it that gets wheeled past him down that hallway. There's a big green hand sticking out. It's a super mutant corpse.
Gotcha.
But we don't actually see it.
Yeah, and I know we see a Deathclaw skull at the end.
We also see a rusted out Assaultron half buried in the sand when Lucy first gets to the surface, which, fun fact about that Assaultron, that exact one is a fan cosplay from Atlanta.
Oh, that's cool.
On the thigh, it says, I want to say Vault Lana or something like that. And the person who made it shouted it out on social media after the show came out, and they were super excited they could finally talk about it. They're like, "Yeah, I made this," and Bethesda and Amazon reached out and asked if they could use it as a prop, and I was super excited to participate.
That's very cool.
I was like, dude, that's like when they used the 501st in Star Wars.
I was about to say that's the end of the Mandalorian, is they're all cosplayers.
Exactly, and I was like, dude, that's fucking dope as fuck. That your Assaultron cosplay that you made was so fucking good. It's a prop in the show, and I saw it, and I was like, shit, that looks awesome. Like, that's a really good piece of work. You did a great job. You did a really good job. But season 2, we definitely need to see laser weapons, plasma weapons, and we're gonna end up finding out what happened to New Vegas at the end of
the very final shot is of Hank McClane standing over New Vegas.
Yeah. So, do you think he knows about House being alive? like as a little like construct in a computer? You think?
I don't know if Hank will know that. I know that they like each of the heads of the big companies had their own plans for vaults or the apocalypse.
Yeah.
In the games, I don't recall House ever actually doing anything with the vaults. I know West Tech definitely did because they invented the forced evolutionary bias, which leads to the super mutants.
Yup.
Out of curiosity, because I don't know a ton about Fallout, like bigger lore stuff. How does this relate to Doctor House?
Oh, very simply, Hugh Laurie voices both characters.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he does
the
British
other
funny
point.
accent.
The other point that it relates to Doctor House is that ghouls are actually just inflicted with lupus.
Yeah, it was finally lupus, just this once.
wow.
Yeah, right? It's crazy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Now I want to see somebody do like House in the Fallout universe. He'd be dead real fast, probably. There's no way he's making it.
I mean, we see House in the Fallout universe. He's the guy that fucks the chickens.
That's God damn, that scene. You just reminded me about the chicken fucker. Oh, that was so fucking funny, dude. I remember watching the trailer and seeing him run with the briefcase, and I was like, oh, is that a Gek? What is that? And then it's like, nah, he's just a snake oil salesman who was fucking chickens. All right, cool, got it. Thank you, Fallout.
And he uses actual Reddit lingo.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, that's literally like that would be a regular random encounter in the games. Was you would find a guy, and I was like, oh, he was fucking my chickens. Like that would happen in Fallout.
I actually like that. That seems so funny because he doesn't even say it like that. He says it like exasperated. He just goes, yeah, he was fucking my chickens. And he just walks into his house. He's like, yeah, thanks for not murdering me.
Yeah, like thanks for not murdering me and not letting me murder the chicken fucker, I guess. But oh boy, all right. Holy fucking shit. Can we talk about Thaddeus being a fucking ghoul?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
His foot reassembled itself? What the fuck? So he was a doctor that could have made a new foot the whole time?
Well, the
he
thing
could have
is,
given the Dr. Wilzig a new foot?
Well, the thing is, it would make Wilzig a ghoul, and then they would just, attach a new foot on there.
Still. Come on. Also, she got a new finger sewn on by the Mr. Handy guy, and they actually kept it a different color the whole show. I was worried they would fuck up that continuity. They did not. I wonder if they're going to keep that up.
I hope so.
Or maybe she finds another like experimental surgery and gets a different finger, or they fix it or something.
Am I wrong that
you are wrong.
Okay.
Nerves do work like that. Nerves actually do work like that. It's really funny. It's just like Lisa Frankenstein. You just sew on the new piece.
Oh yeah,
and then a little
you
zip
get
zap
in the
and it
tanning
works.
bed. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. Anyway,
how many tanning beds do you think exist in the Fallout universe at this
Oh,
point?
are you kidding? Their whole bit.
There's one really
1950s
big one, and it's called a nuclear bomb.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's a really
You
big
don't
tanning
get
bed.
tanner than that.
No,
You're tanned so badly, you're just a shadow on a wall.
What I was
Skin
gonna
cancer.
ask
What's that?
was, does the ghoul sew on her finger?
No,
his finger?
he picks up his own finger that Lucy
Okay.
bit off.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then manages to re-sew it. Which I was a little... I was like, she bit off his trigger finger. That could have been a thing. And I was like, I can't shoot guns anymore. But then I was like, no, he does need to shoot guns. He needs to keep shooting guns.
He also
forever.
he shot guns with both hands before. He's ambidextrous.
I mean, 200 years. Yeah, teach yourself to shoot left-handed, bud. Like, you're just bored. What else are you going to do?
Shoot with your teeth. Shoot with your toes.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's how you do it. No, but Troy, did you have any other gripes? You were the biggest Fallout guy in the first place.
So I don't have any lore gripes because I don't know where this falls into any sort of lore at all. I know passing Fallout stuff. I played more Fallout than I did probably Halo, so I know more. But I also for context, I watched half of the show last night, had something to do, so I couldn't watch all of it. And then I watched the rest of it literally right before I drove over here, 4 episodes of it.
Oh, nice.
So
cool.
I don't know if I had the time to digest everything and
That's okay.
have like a super big gripe about anything because and that is a testament to the show because it would like I need to actually think about the gripes and there's nothing that's like glaring about anything for me. The only thing that I might say, and this could be a thing that season 2 comes out and then I don't care at all anymore. All the stuff that happens in Vault 31 through 33, all of that plot, I feel like that stuff was super interesting to me because it's basically an entire Fallout game where you're just stuck in a vault the entire time, which isn't really a thing that happens necessarily.
Yeah, most games you get out as soon as you can.
Yeah. And I feel like, at least for me, not knowing, I don't know if it was a bigger reveal than I thought, I felt like that was the one that ended up the most sort of like, yeah, there's big stuff happening, but I don't think that we got, like, obviously, everything else felt a lot bigger than what was going on there by the end of it, and it didn't feel like that at the start, I feel like.
Yeah, so it feels like Hank and House are season 2, and then the Vault Tech people in Vault 31 is, like, season 3 and on.
Yeah.
It very well could be. I don't know. I'm curious to see where that story goes, since Norm is now in his dad's cryopod.
Mm-hmm.
And
did they actually show him getting into the cryopod, or did it end on him just being in there? Like,
good question. I don't remember perfectly.
I'm pretty sure he just stares at all the pods.
Yeah. In the what am I trying to say? In the summary here on Wikipedia, it says that he does get into his dad's cryogenic pod to stay alive. But like, people are gonna know he's missing, right?
Mm.
And I mean,
well,
Betty knows where to.
Yeah,
Betty might know where to find him.
Yeah, but Betty's on the side of Vault Tech.
That's true. That's true. But maybe she unfreezes him just to make him starve to death. Who knows?
Maybe.
Or maybe she does like a Kellogg and just like unfreezes him just to shoot him in the head. Who knows?
Yeah. I imagine him getting into a cryopod would be a bad decision on his part, because then he's at Vault Tech's mercy.
Yeah.
I just want more Chet scenes, man. I think Chet's very funny.
Chet's very funny in his
even if he wants to fuck his cousin.
Manipulated relationship with Steph.
Oh, that was so uncomfortable for me. Oh my god, when she put her dead husband's clothes on him, and then was moaning her dead husband's name as she was getting into Chet's pants, I was like, "That's
Jeff. I don't know how to tell you this, but Fallout is both creepy and political,
just like real life."
Yes.
I actually don't think real life's political.
Couple of last things I wanted to point out before we're doing gripes. We'll do gripes, and then I'll do like the last highlights, and then we can do our grades. My last gripe that I really had was it felt really kind of poorly written in my opinion, of Moldaver using the Raiders to invade Vault 33. Like, she had them dress up as Vault 32 dwellers and then participate in the event just to get into 33 to kidnap Hank. Like, that was her goal. Why would the NCR work with Raiders? I don't know how that computes to make that happen.
So I don't think it's outright just the NCR. I think Moldaver herself purchased the help of those Raiders.
Okay.
Just to get Hank, so that way he could give her the code for cold fusion.
I guess that makes Moldaver a lot less of like the good guy who you thought was bad all along, and more
Jeff,
of
this
like
is
a
Fallout.
Shades of
There
Grey.
are no good guys.
Right, it's more Shades of Grey. She hired Raiders to murder a bunch of innocent people just to get at one guy from Vault Tech. All right, cool, I get it. And speaking of one guy from Vault Tech, that was really like the only super big gripe I had. His code to activate the cold fusion. Did you catch that, Troy?
I did. I actually looked it up immediately as he typed it in.
I knew it immediately as soon as he typed it. 10/10/97 is October 10th, 1997, when Fallout 1 came out in the United States of America. And I guess the world. I don't know if they had two separate launch dates.
I saw him type it in, and with no knowledge of when any of the Halo games came, or any of the Fallout games came out. We did Halo like 2 weeks ago. So
there are no naked main characters in this one.
Well, that's not true. That's definitely not true.
Maximus is in the shower. We don't see any butts though.
Yeah,
and Lucy does have sex, but she wears the dress the whole time, so you don't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
We do, however, see plenty of tits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that weird bit.
Yep.
Oh
yep.
yeah, it got
there
real
is a
real
weird
fast.
sex cult. Yeah, not a sex cult, but
they're covering themselves in the ashes of their dead family members.
Yeah. As you do.
And I love how the one guy from Vault 4 was like, it gets a little too rambunctious for me. And I'm like, what? That's a little too rambunctious for you? All right, I hate to see what you consider a wild party then. Jesus Christ, Doc.
Jeff, I don't know how to tell you this, but Fallout's a bit political.
Oh, man! Oh, it all makes sense now. No, it's hilarious. What else was I going to point out? Chris, I have a question to pose your way. I believe throughout the Fallout games, it is theorized that Vault-Tec was the ones who instigated the bombs dropping. The show seems to confirm that. Is that new information?
It is purposely vague throughout all of Fallout. And in the show, they did not outright confirm or deny that Vault-Tec was the one to drop the bombs.
Well,
it is still vague. We do not know.
Okay. Because
Vault-Tec certainly had plans. Whether or not they enacted those plans before China dropped bombs, who knows?
Okay. I guess that's where the disconnect is. Because I was like, wait, she said we're going to make sure it happens because we'll drop the bombs ourselves. But, like...
Yeah, it is...
Did they confirm it?
It is purposely vague as to whether war or corporate greed dropped the bombs.
Okay. The other thing I found super fucked up was Hank killed his own wife, and she was ghoulified? What the fuck?
Yeah.
What
Hank,
the actual fuck?
I think the writing for Hank's, what's the word?
Villain arc?
Motivation for bombing Shady Sands was a little poorly said or written. I think a better way for him to have said it is that he could not let her live because she knew the secret about Vault 31. I think that would have been a better reason for him to nuke Shady Sands and his wife, as opposed to him just sort of being like, oh, if I can't have her, no one can. And I think it's still possible that is the case, but they didn't outright say it, which I think was a misstep.
Yeah, but at the same time, it did kind of paint it as like all Vault-Tec employees are devoted to Vault-Tec in a cult-like fashion. And,
certainly not all of them, only the executives.
Yeah, the executives, that's true for certain. And of which, Hank was an executive. He was in Bud's program. Yep. Come on. It doesn't get more executive training than that. It did kind of raise a question to me as well that I didn't really get an answer to. How is Moldaver alive pre-war and also leading the NCR post-war, and she's not a ghoul?
That is an extremely good question that we didn't get answered.
Yeah, and now she's dead. So, I don't know. Unless the ghoul, Coop knows, because, he knew her pre-war, and maybe he knows her post-war? I'm not sure. But that's... I have a guess, because her whole bit was cold fusion before Vault-Tec bought it from her and locked it away so it couldn't be used.
Yeah.
So I guess she knows how to cryogenically freeze herself.
Well, here's the thing they call out. She is a scientist.
Right. She's incredibly intelligent. She definitely could figure out how to preserve herself, or at least get herself into a vault that would have preserved her until,
the only
22.
vaults that we know of with preservation technology like that is 111 over on the East Coast and Vault 31 on the West. So
right.
I have my own theory that she somehow snuck into a pod in Vault 31 and was in Vault 32, which is how she knew about all this stuff, like how to break into Vault 32 and 33 through it.
That's a good theory.
So, I don't know how that would shake out, because Vault 31's release program was directly under the control of Vault-Tec, and I feel like they would know who Moldaver was.
Yeah, especially because Bud himself with his brain in a little Roomba, which that's literally what the subtitles say.
Yep.
I don't know if you've turned on subtitles, Troy.
I did not.
But when Bud is rolling around, it says brain on a Roomba. And I'm just like, dude, what? That's fucking awesome. Yeah, that seems a little weird since Bud himself was in charge of that program, that he wouldn't have caught her. But man, there's just a lot of weird shit that I guess we'll never know the answer to, and it's all just a theory. It's just a theory.
You shut your whore mouth.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Matt Pat. Mwah. Rest in power, buddy. All right. Does anyone else have any final thoughts they'd like to add on this episode of the TB&J podcast about the Fallout TV show? We've talked about a lot of the things we really enjoyed. We talked about a lot of things that we didn't enjoy a whole lot. A couple of the Easter eggs that were there. A lot of fan service. A lot of shout outs to the video games. Anything else you guys want to highlight?
I don't know whose story I'm most interested in, which is an extremely good problem to have.
Isn't it?
I'm so excited for what Lucy and Coop will do following Hank to New Vegas. I'm excited to see how Maximus will deal with the Brotherhood, because he was prepared to just straight up abandon them. And now
he's a knight.
And now he's an official knight by decree of someone who was not a superior officer.
Yeah, well, they're gonna give him credit.
Yeah,
for killing David.
Yeah. He's getting knight by popular opinion.
He won the popular vote, but did he win the Electoral College? Find out in Season 2. Because remember, Fallout is a political show. We have to include the Electoral College. Oh, my fucking God. I'm sorry.
I'm so excited to see what Norm and Vault 31 will hold for us.
Yeah, there
are 3 separate plot lines that we'll be following that are all equally as interesting to me.
Don't forget your 4th plot line of Hank in New Vegas. I don't know if we're going to follow him directly until.
Well, that was part of the first plot line with Lucy and Coop following him.
Are they following him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That was like the whole thing.
On a much lesser important note, I did just want to mention that one other guy that I thought was very, very funny in 33. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but the gray-haired guy with the mustache, the guy who in every scene had to keep reminding people, like, I voted for Betty, by the way.
Oh,
yeah, he was
saying,
great.
Like actual like Bush era, like you want a guy when things go wrong, you want somebody who's like in charge, and he starts going through all the things, and then just ends all of his sentences with, I'm voting for Betty, by the way, or I voted for Betty, by the way.
I think his name was Bob. I want to say his name was.
I love him.
Bob.
Also, everybody who went to 32 was very, very sad about it, and then he was just pumping his fists.
Yep. I also really enjoyed a couple of the cameos that were in this show. For example, comedian Michael Rappaport was Knight Titus. And as soon as the helmet came off and it was fucking Michael Rappaport there, I was like, shut the fuck up. There's no fucking way Rapp's under that helmet. And it's like, god damn, that's fucking hilarious. He wasn't very funny, but he is a comedian and he did a great job. I also really enjoyed fucking Fred Armisen as the DJ, which, oh my god, that was awesome. I loved him.
I will push back a little bit. I think the idea of Titus is kind of funny because Titus is sort of like the real toxic gamer guy in that whole show where he's just like...
I was like, oh shit, Titus is going to fist fight a Yao Guai and he's going to kick his ass, and then he just runs. He's like, fuck. And I was like, oh, he's a little pussy. That's great. I love this. After saying, lower me down, I'm bored. I want to shoot something.
Yeah, that's when I'm just like, oh, he's like an actual player in the game.
Yeah,
An idiot.
He's just a fucking idiot douchebag. And then he just dies drowning in his own blood. And then he loses his suit to Maximus. Oh, man, it was so fucking good. Oh, man, it was so good. I expected Lucy to have a comment when they leave it behind outside Vault 4 that, like, if you don't feel like you're worth it or something that Tony Stark said to Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm,
like, you don't deserve the suit.
If you're nothing without
if
the
you're
suit,
nothing without the suit, you don't deserve to wear the suit. There it is. I knew you would know it, Troy, you fucking nerd.
All right. Oh, man, listen, the Spider-Man movies are like the best ones. I don't know what to tell you.
They're really good.
They're really all good.
All right. Does that do it? That might do it.
I think the only thing that can be said is that Fallout is political.
Oh,
disagree.
All right, time for letter grades. Troy.
Ooh.
I'll allow you to give a plus or a minus.
No.
A, B, C, D, F.
I'm going to go A minus. I don't know what I gave Last of Us, and comparing them is nothing. I don't care about that.
I don't want to compare.
I think Last of Us is still probably the best video game adaptation we have. Movie or show, probably. As far as I can think of, at least.
No, I'm not. The wasn't about it being the best adaptation.
Sure.
Like
you were thinking about everything else.
They're very different adaptations.
No, for sure. But
I think the Fallout TV show is more fun than the Last of Us show.
100%.
Are you saying that watching episode 3 of Last of Us and crying your eyes out on your couch at 11 o'clock at night wasn't fun?
Well, Jeff, you see, they made Last of Us political.
Oh,
damn it. No, they made Ellie Gay a character who is always straight. Damn it. Damn you.
They made those gay guys from the game gay in the show.
No.
Oh, no.
And as we know, Fallout is not political whatsoever.
No, there's
Thank
zero
God.
politics
Thank God.
in Fallout. Zero.
Anyway. But I think as far as video game adaptations go, this is pretty high up. This is the closest one to I want to watch the game as a show. I feel like this feels like the most direct. They took the things that you wanted from the game and then they made a show out of it in a way that's not just like it's all very fan servicey, but it's not to the point where it's like, okay, I can't enjoy this if I don't care about the game at all.
I would like to hear what D has to say about it as someone who has not played a video game in his 130 years of life.
Right, because
that's not true. D loves Marvel Snap.
That's
a video game.
Counts.
That counts.
Damn it.
I will say, as somebody that has been preaching this exact strategy for a long time for video game adaptations, is the video game does a great job creating a universe. All you have to do as the adapter is create your story in that universe. Yeah. Stay away from the named characters. Stay away from too much of the specific stuff because you're just going to get the nitpicky fans. That's what fucking destroyed Halo.
Genuinely?
Even the thing with Halo and Fallout does this is that it does use named characters from the games. It uses Robert House. It uses Frederick Sinclair. It uses like people that exist in that world.
No, sure.
But they tell new stories about them. It's not...
Yeah.
They're not covering Fallout 3 and then saying, yeah, everything in Fallout 3, it happened this specific way that doesn't mesh well with the game.
It also works both ways, too, because I'm thinking games that are adaptations of properties that exist outside of it. The best ones are you have like a Shadow of Mordor and a Alien Isolation, stuff like that.
Oh,
where that's not...
They
you're
tell
not just doing
different
the
stories
movie game,
in the universe, yeah. That's always what I've wanted from video game adaptations with games that are super large and expansive. There's been a lot of rumors on the horizon that they're trying to tap into a Mass Effect show. And
what's happening with Gears of War? I felt like that was super off the ground, and then I feel like it wasn't all of a sudden.
It got greenlit, it got names attached, and then it's just kind of been sitting in development hell for a few years now. It hasn't really gotten too far off the ground yet. It went through a lot of rewrites, and then they threw everything out, started over.
Not the best sign, usually.
It's definitely probably not going to happen. Or at least not this time. They might shelve it. It'll come back by it from a different studio. But regardless, I really want them to just create a new story in that universe. Fallout. That universe is so fucking large. It's literally as large as the world. You can plop your own characters anywhere, tell your story, and just make it look like the game, and people will enjoy it. Look at what they did here. It's awesome. It's great. It's what I want them to do with Star Wars. I want to see like Rogue Squadron or something. Something that we haven't seen
before.
Which
is, once again, for the third time, greenlit.
Yeah, greenlit just to be shelved again.
Greenlit again.
Speaking of Gears of War and shit like that, I would love to see stories that just take place elsewhere or with different characters. And that's what I wanted from Halo. There's a lot of different soldiers in the UNSC. Why are we always fucking looking at Master Chief? Stop it. His story is well documented. I don't care anymore. Regardless, this show did so fucking well, I'm giving it an A. And it's a solid fucking A. I had my gripes. It's not an A+. But it did really, really well enough. I was able to look over the shortcomings that I saw, and I really enjoyed the final product, especially because I got to ingest it all at once in one sitting, which is just fucking phenomenal. And I'm very, very excited to see where it goes from here. I'm also very excited that some of my old Fallout merch might be worth money now. Regardless, I'm super fucking stoked that one of my favorite series of all time has a fresh breath of life and a new direction to go in. With that said, Chris, the harshest critic of the three of us by far, and the one who loves Fallout the most, how are you feeling?
Well, one, I am not the harshest critic. I'm extremely easy to please. It's just getting me, to actually watch something in the first place.
Does that make Troy our harshest critic?
I think D's the harshest critic.
Sure, I agree with that. I think out of the three of us, it really depends on what we're doing.
We all kind of suck sometimes.
Anyway, and we're all dumb, and we have no idea what we're talking about.
I just like playing video games.
Political?
Oh no!
So before I give my actual grade, I do want to shout out the creator, executive producer John Nolan, who also did Westworld.
That John Nolan, of the Christopher Nolans.
Yes, he was the showrunner. So that could also be.
I did know that. I just forgot to mention it.
Is that his American brother?
Do
you know about this?
No. Jonathan Nolan was born in London.
So, if you ever listen to them talk, Christopher Nolan has an English accent, and Jonathan Nolan doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Because apparently he lived a lot in America, so it's just two brothers, and they sound nothing like each other. It's actually interesting. It's very interesting.
Oh yeah. He was raised in both London and Chicago. He attended Georgetown University. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't sound British at all. Not even like he has an accent that he lost. He just doesn't sound it.
That's fine.
No, it's fine. I'm not against him sounding American. That's whatever. But I just think it's very interesting where it's you have them in a room and they just don't sound like each other.
Yeah, but that Jonathan Nolan guy, Prestige, Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar.
I've heard of those.
Westworld. He's got
heard of that.
He's done some things.
Yeah, so that could be the reason why it's so good. Could be that the source material is political.
Well, I hated Dark Knight Rises.
Anyway, this show gets an A, and the plus is only because I'm extremely biased, and I feel as though the multiple thousands of hours I've put into Fallout, if I didn't give it an A+, I would feel like my life is a lie.
Well, so your life is a lie. Your life is a lie, but not for that reason.
So we're giving this show a fucking A. I'm so fucking excited for that. When I first heard Fallout,
and if D disagrees, he can go fuck himself.
Yeah, fuck him, for real. When I first heard they were doing a Fallout TV show, I really was expecting to hate every minute of it and give it an F, but god fucking damn if they did not completely turn me on my head and just fucking give me the best TV show I've seen in a very long time. It was so good. Every plot line, the A plot, B plot, C plot, there were 3 of them. I followed all of them. It was really, really good. I enjoyed all of this from beginning to end. Cannot wait for season 2. Yeah.
And it was political. The whole time.
Man, it was political?
The whole time.
Shit.
Are you telling me my favorite game franchise of all time is political?
Always has been.
Troy, I want to...
okay.
As a side note, did you recognize Lucy, actress Ella Purnell, from anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, I probably know her, but...
Oh, you definitely know her.
What's she in?
She was Bautista's daughter in Army of the Dead on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Everyone loves a fucking lobster roll.
Okay. Is that a line from the...
Yeah, that's what she says as her father dies.
I don't remember anything from that movie.
Yep. She was a main character in that movie.
Oh, apparently she was also in Invincible.
Oh.
What? Really?
Jane. Who's Jane?
Oh, she's in the season 2 finale. I haven't actually seen that episode yet.
Okay. Have you have you seen Snyder's back on his stuff again? And he recently said people who don't want to see Batman and Superman kill people are brainwashed.
See, I don't think I give a shit what Snyder says anymore. I just don't. The man's fucking stupid. I don't think I can care anymore about what he says. I just can't. I don't. That's our show. Thank you so much for watching, listening, however you did it, I guess. That's it.
Comment in and say whether or not you think this episode was political or not.
Let me know if you think Walton Goggins is hot. Or if he's, too ugly hot.
Or if he's too hot to be ugly.
Oh.
Hey, guys.
He's hot from radioactivity.
If Coop went up to you and offered you ass jerky, would you eat it?
I feel like I would die if I said no, so maybe?
But you might die if you say yes.
Would you eat his ass jerky? If you know what I mean.
For sure.
Do you think ghouls poop?
I just trying to kind of stick my finger in his nose hole.
Oh, I saw this terrible, terrible meme on how if Norm and Coop kissed and they would lock faces together, both their lips and their noses.
Because Norm's nose is fucking huge. Oh, God. I'm glad we caught that on tape. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye.